I walked into the redemption text with my good brother, Lin Qing. He is responsible for redeeming the fallen villain girl, Jiang Yao. I am responsible for redeeming the physical genius of autism, Lin Biqiang. When the task was about to be completed, the male protagonist, Zhou Ying, appeared. The progress of the raid was cleared overnight. My brother came to me. "Don't play anymore, go home." I said, "If you come back, I will come back." Later, we both died and left the world, having fun with the prize money. A year later, the system suddenly cheated. The death of the male protagonist in the novel world is detected, and the target use is abnormal, means to forcibly recall the host. Turn on teleportation in 3 seconds. My brother and I, 3 seconds later, the two of us hugged our beautiful sister and fell in front of the two blackened women. The villain girl, Jiang Yao, tied her brother's hands. "Brother, don't think about running away for the rest of your life." The gloomy woman next to her, Lin Biqiang, permanently turned off the system. "Honey, you too. My brother and I have been busy for 3 years, and a former depraved villain girl has become a big star in the spotlight. A physical genius who is depressed and autistic has become an upstart in a technology company." The night before the strategy progress was about to reach 100% and he could stay in this world, the male protagonist appeared. All progress cleared overnight. 3 years of hard work fell short. After nightfall, the capital set off gorgeous blue fireworks. The moment it explodes, it is like stars scattered all over the sky. I guess this one was released by Jiang Yao. Brother Lin Qing sat on the fence of the bridge across the river, drank some horse urine, and pointed out the country to me. I told her that the blue fireworks were for love, and she actually set them off for others. After saying that, he asked me, "Why don't you let go of your Lin Biqiang?" I held my hand. I blocked her, and the ghost knows. The alarm of the system has been ringing in our heads all night. It indicates that the task is about to fail. In another hour, the system will force us to go home. After staying in this strange world for 3 years, and now returning to the painful life of the 8th day, Lin Qing and I are more or less melancholic. Suddenly, a bell broke the silence of the night. Jiang Yao called Lin Qing. Lin Qing picked it up without thinking. "Jiang Yao thinks you still have a conscience. Are you Lin Qing?" It was not Jiang Yao who spoke, but an arrogant man. "Who are you?" "I'm Zhou Ying. Yao Yao is taking a bath. There are some things I'll tell you alone." Zhou Ying's tone was arrogant and casual. "I accidentally knocked over the photo of the two of you just now." "Yes, on purpose. I think I'm back. There's no need to continue to hang your group photo." A coquettish gasp suddenly came from the other end of the phone. "Brother Zhou Ying, spare me. I don't want to." Lin Qing blurted out. "Grass, you two are." The person who answered the phone suddenly changed people. Jiang Yao, who had the impression that her brother was older and her brother was shorter, spoke to Lin Qing in an extremely cold voice for the first time. "Don't roar at Brother Ying. Over the years, I have seen with my own eyes how much effort Lin Qing has put into Jiang Yao. When Jiang Yao lacked food and clothing, Lin Qing worked 8 jobs a day. Later, Jiang Yao became a big star and held a national concert tour, and Lin Qing slowly relaxed. As a result, now Jiang Yao dares to speak to Lin Qing like this." Lin Qing sneered. "Jiang Yao, I said that you are my target of strategy. If I fail, I will completely disappear into this world." "Okay, then disappear." Jiang Yao's delicate gasp came from the other end, and her tone was the usual delicate. "I didn't force you to attack me." As the phone went out, Jiang Yao hung up the phone. The wind around made the reeds rustle. Lin Qing climbed down from the bridge silently. "I'm not going to play anymore. Are you going home?" I said, "If you come back, I will come back." The death method chosen by the system for us is car accident. After all, this method is short and fast, and there is no pain. It is equivalent to a stimulus before returning to the real world. As a result, after a while, the system fell silent. "Host, there is a link problem on my side. Can you change it to cancer?" Lin Qing and I were silent for a long time. "No, you are stupid." When we came, Lin Qing and I set the location of our tombstones. The C position with excellent feng shui, next to 8 Baijid cute girls sleep. As a result, on the way back, Lin Qing suffered from pancreatic cancer, and I suffered from stomach cancer. After the system told us to wait for the natural death of this world, it was unreliably disconnected. According to what I found online, pancreatic cancer progresses rapidly. Lin Qing should be faster than me, but I didn't expect it to be so fast. The next second when the system disappeared, Lin Qing was already covering his stomach and slowly curled up into a ball. Did it forget to turn on the pain shield? Damn it. When I go out, I must complain about it. Pancreatic cancer is deadly when it hurts. Taking him to the hospital for morphine became a top priority. When we went home to pack our things, we bumped into Zhou Ying, who was wandering around the villa naked. The body is covered with small scratches. When Zhou Ying saw us, he had no consciousness of a male mistress at all. Instead, Jiang Yao pounced on him, blocked Zhou Ying, and frowned. What are you doing when you come back? Lin Qing was in so much pain that she didn't have the energy to pay attention to Jiang Yao. So she turned her head to the bedroom to find her medical insurance card. As a result, the bedroom was littered with men's and women's clothes. The photo of Jiang Yao and Lin Qing fell to the ground and was smashed. Everything was messed up. Lin Qing turned around and asked Jiang Yao, "Where's my medical insurance card?" "What are you doing with your medical insurance card?" "I have cancer. I'm going to be hospitalized." Jiang Yao shrugged her shoulders indifferently, still smiling hippiely. "Brother, I just received your physical examination report last week. Everything is normal. Do you think that Zhou Ying has asthma, so you even have to compare yourself with him when you get sick?" Zhou Ying walked up to Lin Qing provocatively and asked with a smile, "Dude, the cancer is all installed. Your face is so pale that you put on foundation?" Lin Qing punched Zhou Ying in the face, smiling heartily. "You like makeup so much? Reward your blush." Zhou Ying was blinded and didn't speak for a while. Jiang Yao rushed over and pushed Lin Qing away, pulled Zhou Ying, and could no longer hide the disgust in her eyes. "Get out of the house before Brother Ying and I come back." Jiang Yao left with Zhou Ying. Lin Qing poured a large glass of water. "Wipe it. I was so angry just now. How can you be hospitalized without a medical insurance card? At your own expense, money. Life does not bring death." After thinking about it again and again, I still pulled Lin Biqiong out of the blacklist. Gave her a call. It was her secretary who took it. "Miss Lin is accompanying Mr. Zhou. What do you want to say to Miss Lin? I can convey it on my behalf. I'm all amused, this novel world. Give me 5 million. Otherwise I will go to the company every day to make trouble and let everyone know that Zhou Ying is a mistress. I am different from Lin Qing. Lin Biqiong and I have already received the certificate. Her property is half of me. Anyway, Lin Qing and I have given up on staying in this world. As the saying goes, barefoot people are not afraid of wearing shoes. If you tear your face, you will tear your face. There is nothing to be afraid of." The other party was silent for a moment, as if he had gone to ask Lin Biqiong for instructions. A minute later, the secretary's cold voice came. Miss Lin said yes. "You see, for the male protagonist, she can have no bottom line. Lin Qing and I successfully stayed in a ward. Play games together when you have nothing to do. In the past, we could spend a lot of money for skins, but now we can't. I want to save money and give Lin Qing morphine." Months passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Qing's condition progressed faster than mine. Originally, he liked to listen to Jiang Yao's concerts, but now he doesn't listen to them anymore. Because in the last few performances, Zhou Ying was sitting in the audience. Jiang Yao's fan leader openly ate CP, and even the little nurse in the ward was eating it. Seeing Jiang Yao and Zhou Ying in the same frame, he screamed. Lin Qing's illness became more and more frequent, and when it hurt, he couldn't stop a few injections of morphine, and beads of sweat flowed down his cheeks. I looked at his arm that had been beaten into a hornet's nest, and I felt uncomfortable. "Why don't you jump off the roof?" Lin Qing shouted weakly. "You. If I'm dead, who will play games with you?" I was about to cry when the system that had been faked for a long time suddenly went online. Oh, I finally succeeded in linking. The host doesn't have to endure pain. The system will send you away. Lin Qing was dying at the moment. He raised his head. His lips opened and closed silently, probably wanting to say, "I'll your dad." The system apologized frantically. "This side will appropriately compensate you for 30 million cash, dear." After hearing this, Lin Qing closed his eyes peacefully. In June, Jiang Yao ended her national tour and returned to the capital accompanied by Zhou Ying. That day, the intersection near the hospital was surrounded. That was the only way for Jiang Yao to go home. She sat in the nanny's car and kissed Zhou Ying inseparably. The dense flash was aimed at the fairy couple, and the heat of the live broadcast room paralyzed the platform several times. The average barrage refreshes tens of thousands per second. Their CP fans were so excited that they were about to hug each other. Jiang Yao times Zhou Yingchang. My girl finally caught up with the white moonlight that redeemed her. A reporter broke through the crowd and asked Jiang Yao, "Do you and Mr. Zhou live together? Is it convenient for us to follow you to your home for an interview?" This kind of rude interview request is generally rejected. However, Jiang Yao, as the villain in the book, has a huge obsession with Zhou Ying. She will seize every opportunity to tie Zhou Ying and her name together. So Jiang Yao replied without blinking, "Yes." But she soon remembered, the house hasn't been cleaned up yet. On the floor of the master bedroom, there is still a photo of her and Lin Qing broken. So, she called Lin Qing. I took it. "Lin Qing, where are you?" I stared at her holding Zhou Ying in the distance and didn't speak. Lin Qing's thin body was lying on the stretcher in the back seat of my car at the moment. Jiang Yao's tone was obviously impatient and said, "I don't care where you are. Go home now and erase all traces of your existence." Jiang Yao looked back. She heard my voice and was stunned. It seemed that she subconsciously turned around and saw me sitting in the passenger seat of the funeral car across the sea of thousands of people. I said, "Lin Qing has pancreatic cancer, just left. When you were sitting in the car and kissing Zhou Ying, his body happened to pass by you." Jiang Yao didn't react for a while, just squeezed the phone like this, staring at me in a daze. There are crowds all around. No matter how much the reporter and Zhou Ying asked, Jiang Yao did not answer. Then, everything was like cutting to slow motion. Jiang Yao rushed down from the nanny car in front of thousands of media, and then desperately squeezed through the crowd and ran towards this side. Her face was pale, as if she was crying something. But there were too many people, and it was too noisy for me to hear. I threw the ring Lin Qing wore on her ring finger out of the window and ordered the driver to drive. Looking at Jiang Yao kneeling on the ground, I remembered Lin Qing's last words before leaving, which was really good. People will eventually be trapped in their lives by things that cannot be obtained by youth. The unattainable person, Zhou Ying is, and he can also be. Jiang Yao's name exploded several hot searches that night. Jiang Yao chasing hearse, Jiang Yao injured, Jiang Yao Zhou Ying broke up. Jiang Yao almost blew up my phone, and as a last resort, I pulled out my phone card. I turned my head and asked the system, "Can Lin Qing really get 30 million? System, really do. What about me? Dear, the system has found that we have normally turned on the pain shielding function, and we will not be compensated. 10,000 grasses in my heart rush past your mother. At this point, I can only count on my brother to support me. The rest of the days, time flies." I was going to repeat the old trick and get a handful of Lin Biqiang. However, her secretary was really strict, and she said that she was accompanying Zhou Ying, and I had no interest in teasing her. But Jiang Yao was crazy. She came to the door more than once to harass her. "Where did Lin Qing go? I have seen his physical examination report. How could he get pancreatic cancer? Don't try to test me with your clumsy skills." I calmly threw Lin Qing's death certificate on Jiang Yao's face. "Do you see clearly? The ID number, date of death, and cause of death are clearly written. Jiang Yao, do you still remember when you first entered the entertainment industry, who asked you for the opportunity to release your first album?" Jiang Yao opened her mouth, tears welling up first. I looked at her like this and suddenly cursed. Then the Lin Qing and the producer accompanied the drink and vomited himself. "Jiang Yao, you are really a big coffee. Every time you ascend, when you were praised by many fans and stars, how many times Lin Qing poured himself wine, how many times he endured difficulties, and how many times he went to the hospital, do you know in your heart? It is a fact that Lin Qing took 30 million to go back and live a good life. But it is also true that in the past 3 years, he has been tossing his body desperately. For Lin Qing, everything that happened here was true." Jiang Yao was yelled at by me, and her face turned pale. Tears suddenly flowed down like money. Zhou Ying's shout came from outside the door. "I want to see Jiang Yao. That man is dead. Why are you stopping me?" I looked out the window coldly and said the last word. "Lin Qing has called you many times, and each time Zhou Ying answered, including his last phone call before he died. In fact, Lin Qing has never fought at all. He was carried away by 30 million, and even thought about the day when he would go back to fire the boss first, and then order the car model. But we will repay the slightest mistake. We left, and we didn't want Zhou to have a good time. Sure enough, Jiang Yao, who was ignited by anger, rushed out in the next second and slapped Zhou. Did you delete your call logs? You bastard. Zhou Ying's eyes widened in astonishment. It was pouring rain outside the window. I saw Lin Biqiang's figure appear in the distance. She didn't take an umbrella and walked hurriedly towards this side. No wonder he is the chosen male protagonist. Zhou Ying can never die at the hands of the villain. I laughed out loud. I remembered the first day I saw Lin Biqiang, a genius physics girl, because she was slandered for cheating in competition results. Her life almost ended that summer. I ran in the heavy rain for a long time before I ran to her, holding the knife in her hand tightly, and said in a firm tone, Lin Biqiang, I believe in you. I swear that from now on, I will always be with you wherever you go. That day, the knife accidentally cut the inside of my forearm, and blood flowed profusely. Lin Biqiang cried and kissed the scar countless times at night. Brother, you are my salvation. I watched the depressed physics genius grow step by step into a well-known technology upstart in Beijing. But after the male protagonist appeared, he gradually drifted away from her. The system asked, Host, your life is over. Do you want to leave the world? Do you need to say a word to Lin Biqiang again? I looked at the faint scar on my wrist and smiled. Forget it. She's here to save the male protagonist. I'll just go. I chose a comfortable place to lie down. When I closed my eyes, I thought of Lin Qing's 30 million. I hope he can keep his promise and take 30 million to support me. A few minutes later, Lin Biqiang rushed into the house and saw my cold body. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for finishing the strategy and returning to the real world. A logout point has been automatically created for you. I wish you a happy life. I opened my eyes from the darkness, and the music in my ears was deafening. In the pool, Lin Qing was holding a bottle of champagne, and a beautiful woman was shouting excitedly at me. Jiang man, what the hell are you doing in a daze? Take off your clothes and jump down. People often post on the internet. What will happen if you have 30 million all at once? Lin Qing and I are undoubtedly good examples. Save half, squander half. We moved into a big villa and drove a Porsche. From time to time, supermodels are called to the pool of the villa for parties. There is just one thing, Lin Qing doesn't touch it. That is listening to songs. He wrapped all the albums of his favorite singers before wearing the book and put them in the basement. When the door closed, he asked me, What do you have to throw away? I said, I threw it away. What? 5 years of college entrance examination, 3 years simulation, physics version, learn mathematical Olympiad, physics, from scratch. I threw it away after the college entrance examination. Lin Qing rolled his eyes and sat down by the pool. The evening breeze is gentle. The frolic sound of the little girl splashing in the distance has never been so real and moving. Even if a whole year has passed, those people and those things always come to mind inadvertently. Even Lin Qing and I tacitly kept silent. Lin Qing sucked the watermelon juice in his mouth, tilted his head, and said hello to the girl in the distance. Actually, later, the system came to me. It seems like they have spiritual comfort services or something. I looked sideways at him and listened to him continue. It always says that it is some old dream, just like the script Killing. The moment the light is on, everything is over. But there are some things that I think only you can understand. How can something you really experience be considered fake? You know what? I want to vomit when I see alcohol now, Lin Qing said with a smile. But I always feel that he is not happy. He already had a scar on his heart. It may be suddenly lifted at some inadvertent moment, and then blood will flow. It's like when I come back, I always inadvertently restrain myself. For example, Lin Biqiang doesn't like spicy food, and I always habitually refuse when my boss asks me about my taste. Lin Qing and I are not the winners of this game, just survivors. The live music gradually intensified, pulling back my thoughts, and the atmosphere quickly became lively again. Lin Qing slammed the cup. I swear, I'm going to talk to all my sisters tonight. I said, me too. We jumped into the pool one after the other. Since the music was so upbeat that we didn't hear that underbeaten system, it came back to life. She broke the stereo at the scene and screamed in a loud voice. There was horror in his voice. The death of the male protagonist in the novel world is detected, and the target use is abnormal, means to forcibly recall the host. Teleport in 3 seconds. Lin Xing and I hugged our beautiful sister and both played one. ? Then, his eyes went dark. Lost consciousness. It was a chaotic night. Lin Xing and I hugged our beautiful sister and both fell into the dark pool. Accompanied by a violent fluttering sound, dazzling incandescent lights lit up all around. Illuminate the night as bright as day. Lin Biqiang sat by the pool, staring at me, who suddenly appeared. The staff next to him whispered, "Miss Lin, the experiment was successful. Are you closing the teleportation channel?" Lin Biqiang slowly leaned back into the recliner behind her, her slender legs gently overlapping. No need to turn it off. Her eyes fell on the woman between me and Lin Xing, and she said cruelly, "Destroy the instrument completely. Then, leave time for me and Jiang Yao." Before I could react, I was already dragged out of the pool by a few men in black. The moment Lin Xing appeared, he was held down by Jiang Yao's bodyguard and knelt on the ground. "Brother, I know you're not dead." Jiang Yao's tone was very calm, but the eyes were shockingly crazy. She touched Lin Xing's neck and said with a smile, "You really lied to me so badly." Lin Xing looked extremely calm at this moment, even a little dazed. "Where's this place?" "You? Who is it?" He was like a helpless fool. "You let go of me. I don't know you. I want to go home." Jiang Yao's smile stiffened for a moment. Her tears were about to overflow. "Don't pretend to be with me. Lin Xing, don't do this to me." But what responded to her was only a pair of blank and indifferent eyes. I was amazed by the sight. Damn, pretend to have amnesia. Awesome. How could I not expect it? I swallowed my saliva and slowly turned my head towards Lin Biqiang. She eventually became a kite with a broken thread, lost in the vast stars as far as the eye could see. Lin Biqiang smiled. "Why? Brother doesn't remember me either." I closed my eyes resignedly. Damn, both of them have amnesia that is too obvious. "Lin Xing, your dog." Lin Xing and I spent a year in the real world. The mission world has gone through 3 years of time alternation. The big star Jiang Yao has disappeared. Now he has become Lin Biqiang's partner. And all the efforts they have made in the past 3 years are to get the two of us back. There is revenge, and there is grievances. They separated the two of us very tacitly. It seems that this can cut off the possibility of Lin Xing and me leaving. In fact, they did. The system never contacted us again. Lin Biqiang put me in her villa. In addition to work, he stares at me almost every day. She said, "Brother, don't worry. This time, I only have you." That night, Lin Biqiang was stunned when she habitually kissed the scar on my wrist. The scar disappeared. The original place is as clean as new. She and I looked at each other calmly in the dark. We all know what's different. What I didn't say clearly 3 years ago, after 3 years, whether it's obsession or guilt, piercing the window paper and putting it on the surface always looks so unseemly. But I have to say it. Lin Biqiang, I don't want a dog that runs out. I'm afraid she will eat and be disgusting. Just one sentence. Lin Biqiang seemed to have been hit with a heavy hammer, and she was speechless for a long time. In fact, compared to the time when Lin Xing and Jiang Yao met, Lin Biqiang and I met earlier. Lin Xing just came over, busy looking for her target among the little stars. I followed Lin Biqiang's buttocks. Like my mother, my sister was long and my sister was short. Lin Biqiang at that time was not what she is now. She will give another little girl a piece of ice cream because I gave her today, just broke it, and ran to ask me. It is popular in schools to give chocolates to boys. Lin Biqiang was slandered for fraudulently competing and even had her scholarship confiscated. In order to buy me a box of 500 chocolates, she went outside to distribute leaflets for several days in the sun. Barely made up 500 yuan. In the end, I didn't even dare to write my name on the message in the box. She said she knew I was going to open up in front of my classmates. She has a bad reputation and doesn't want to implicate me. Later, when she fell in the mud again and again, I held her collar and told her, "Lin Biqiang, get up." Later, she stood at the top. "Never fall again. You can buy the entire chocolate shop on Valentine's Day." However, she seems to have forgotten her signature. In the past, I didn't dare, then I was unwilling, and then I didn't want to. I don't know when I started to find out that Lin Biqiang was wandering in this relationship. It was probably the year before Zhou came back. When Lin Biqiang came back drunk, I found a small tooth mark on her collarbone. In fact, this is not surprising. She has been at the top for a long time, enjoying the stars holding the moon, and seeing famous flowers and mountains and rivers. Even if she doesn't want it, there will always be someone who will send beautiful things to her. At that moment, my mind went blank. Disappointment and anger came like waves, wave after wave, until I was beaten to pieces and shattered. That night, I turned down her request for intimacy. Sue was too uncomfortable and yelled at her. The panic in Lin Biqiang's eyes didn't seem to be fake, but she couldn't tell me. Like most women who have made mistakes, after enjoying the pleasure, she just wants to whitewash peace in front of her original wife. But I can't. I laughed so hard that tears fell. Lin Biqiang, don't touch me. That night, I lost my temper, almost hysterically screaming, because I don't understand why they can make big mistakes and ask for forgiveness with the name of deep love. When I refused her, I accidentally scratched myself again. The moment the blood gushed out probably evoked Lin Biqiang's memories of the past. Her face turned pale instantly, pressed my wound, and begged incoherently for defense. Brother, just this time. I'm drunk. I'll change it. I beg you, don't hurt yourself, okay? Looking at Lin Biqiang's painful eyes, I believe she really regretted it at that moment. But regret and desire do not conflict. She can do it while regretting it. In short, this incident became a thorn in my heart. Since she refused to divorce me, I took out a few sarcastic words from time to time. It's funny to say, Lin Biqiang's patience is not as long as most people. In just 2 weeks, she endured to the limit. One day after I taunted her, she dropped her chopsticks. Young man, is it interesting? At that time, there was still the braised eggplant I had just made on the table. The chopsticks flew into the bowl, and the hot oil splashed out collapsed on my face. It hurts. I looked at her coldly, got up and picked up the eggplant and poured it into the trash can. Lin Biqiang came back to her senses and suddenly hugged me from behind. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't control it. I'll never do it again. I'm sorry. It's disgusting. People are always dragged to hell by huge sunk costs. When the interruption continues, the shattering of the bones is the end. Since then, Lin Biqiang's strategy progress has been stuck at 99%. I am only one step away from successfully staying in this world. In fact, the system asked me, do you want to leave? Or if you don't clear it, stay here and enjoy the glory and wealth. It's not bad. I chose the second one, but not because he was reluctant to splash wealth, but for Lin Qing. Lin Qing and I met in an orphanage. From small to large. I didn't want to go back to a world where there was only one person, so I simply dragged my progress and lived in a daze. But my casual attitude towards Lin Biqiang completely made her lose her patience. She began to stay up all night. Although since then, he has never touched a man again. But in her subconscious, she has begun to be assimilated by this cruel world. It is normal for successful people to be surrounded by warblers and swallows. Bai Yueg Wang. First love, childhood sweetheart, after becoming famous, can all be regarded as her great achievements. Maybe I missed a dream one of my words. Lin Biqiang learned everything about the system, so she found a reasonable explanation for her behavior. Her wandering is just to wait for the real male protagonist to appear. She held my hand and said sincerely, brother, people can't resist fate, but don't worry, I will never divorce you. How touching, under the oppression of fate. She is also willing to give her first wife a marriage in name only. I should be grateful to date. Later, Zhou appeared. Butterflies wrapped around her like honey. I think Lin Biqiang finally figured everything out. Everything she has is enough to support her self-esteem, so why accommodate me? In her last year, she was like throwing garbage, leaving me far away in the past, and embracing her glamorous life. No one knows that 99% of the strategy progress was cleared by me on my own initiative. It was I who took the initiative to give up the redemption of Lin Biqiang. Since that night, Lin Biqiang seems to have disappeared. I was full of hope that she would quickly lose patience with me as she had in the past, and then let my love go wherever it went. Anyway, ordinary people in this world are quite normal. If the divorce divides a property, I can go to a new place and live a good life. But until I was locked up in the villa for 2 months, Lin Biqiang still didn't change her mind. She came to accompany me every night. Brother, I'm in pain. I don't know what I want, and I don't know how to go on the road ahead. I suddenly remembered that before I crossed into this world, the system's evaluation of Lin Biqiang was genius depressed girl. She has a unique insight into the vast universe, and her thinking is vast and profound, which leads to her lack of emotional processing. Her predetermined ending is to end her life with her own hands when she touches the end of science in the future. People who are too kind always don't want to see the fall of geniuses. I was back then, but now, I just looked at her and sneered. Lin Biqiang, if you don't understand, die. 2 days later, someone came to the door. It's Jiang Yao. She lost a lot of weight, was visible to the naked eye, and there was a calm sense of madness in her eyes. Lin Biqiang, tell me, how can people recover their memories? Lin Qing, he doesn't remember me at all now. He doesn't love me at all. The last sentence, she almost roared out. That day, Lin Biqiang and Jiang Yao stayed in the study all afternoon. I sat at the door and heard the whole story. It turned out that in the past 2 months, Lin Qing has taken good care of himself. At the beginning of being taken back by Jiang Yao, Lin Qing said that he had a phobia of strangers. He called Jiang Yao a trafficker and said that she dared to make him unhappy, so he committed suicide. After making trouble in front of Jiang Yao a few times, Jiang Yao didn't dare to force him, allowing him to call and play with his mobile phone, and also allowed him to order takeout to his door. As a result, Lin Qing didn't order takeout, but ordered female models. How Jiang Yao met Zhou Ying privately back then, he did it openly. Jiang Yao came home several times and saw Lin Qing hugging a beautiful girl and sleeping soundly. Lin Qing drove Jiang Yao crazy, and when Jiang Yao got angry, he sat on the sofa and watched calmly. Later, Jiang Yao cut off his mobile phone. He smashed all the photos of him, and Jiang Yao said he looked annoyed. He didn't know her at all, but he was forced to live with her. Jiang Yao ordered a pair of wedding rings and put them on Lin Qing's fingers like crazy. Lin Qing threw the ring into the trash can. I want to enter the entertainment industry as a singer. When you help me do it, I will marry you. People chase people, throw money and resources. You don't want to wear empty gloves, right? After Amnesia, Lin Qing is bitter and mercenary. Jiang Yao gritted her teeth and had to use her former connections to fight for Lin Qing in the life and death entertainment industry. Lin Qing's new album sings crookedly and even quotes a few lines of Jay Chou's lyrics to pay tribute to Jay Chou. Although I didn't hear that it had a half-time relationship with Jay Chou. The new album was released 3 days ago and topped the hot chart. The comment area scolded the pot. Which stupid relative? How many pounds and tails do not count? What the hell are you singing? Get out. An album has been scolded more than 100,000 times. Behind the scenes, Jiang Yao accompanied people to drink until they bled. When I woke up in the hospital the next day, no one even covered me with a quilt. On the mobile phone is Lin Qing's emotionless thank you and a new word file called Lin Qing's second song. In fact, one winter, Lin Qing was like this. Drunk, he collapsed in the ice and snow and was taken to the hospital. He was frozen all over his body and had stomach bleeding. The doctor called Jiang Yao more than a dozen times, but she stayed in the recording studio all night in order to give the new album Zhou Ying's name, but did not answer. She strives to make this song perfect and worthy of her white moonlight, but Lin Qing fell at the first intersection out of the wine bureau. I almost froze to death on a snowy night of more than -20 degrees. Lin Qing is a vindictive. Anyway, I couldn't go back, so I intensified my revenge on her. After a few times, Jiang Yao couldn't stand it anymore. She found Lin Biqiang. Can you let Lin Qing get her memory back? Lin Qing is not a fool. How is it possible? Time is like pressing the accelerator button. Just like the person who summons the soul in the story, the one who will be summoned in the end will not be the original lover. Lin Qing and I have completely become spectators of the story, watching the characters move towards the established ending. This time, no one was so despicable that they could redeem their fate. In order to remind Lin Qing of herself, Jiang Yao became more and more paranoid day by day. Lin Qing's garbage albums came out one after another. The list has been on the list again and again. I was scolded over and over again. It all depends on Jiang Yao to take her own life. Lin Biqiang has given up on making me change my mind. Instead, In the middle of the night, he pinched my shoulders and said almost morbidly, "Brother, wait for me. Wait for me to develop a time machine, and we'll start over." Haha, stupid. Look at the brain. Late one night, I was woken up again by a familiar voice. The system cried very cowardly, "Woo-woo host, I finally contacted you. I lost my host, and I was almost scolded to death by my boss." I had to open my eyes suddenly. Lin Biqiong on the side seemed to notice something and opened her eyes. Meeting my empty gaze, she came over in an instant. There was an imperceptible panic in his tone. "Brother, why are you awake?" At this point, the display screen has appeared in front of my eyes. The system said in a twitch, "Woo-woo host. Yes, the system is here to take you back. The technician has fixed the bug. Such a thing will never happen again." I asked, "Where's Lin Qing?" What did he say? Because I said this in front of Lin Biqiong. Her face turned pale instantly. "Who are you talking to? You must be confused. Is it good to close your eyes? Continue to sleep. I won't talk or touch you, okay?" There was a hint of pleading in her voice, but I ignored her. I only heard the system say, "Lin Qing has just passed it back and left in front of Jiang Yao." Before leaving, I told her that he had no amnesia. "It's crazy over there. Host, I think the one in front of you is almost over, so don't delay." A "Get Out of the World" button popped up in front of me. At this time, Lin Biqiong had already pounced, crying and begging, "Jiang man, you are not allowed to go anywhere. Did you hear that? We still have a chance. I won't allow you to leave me." I broke free from her pull and clicked, "Out of the world." At the last moment, what I saw was Lin Biqiong's dilated pupils because of fear. When Jiang Yao broke into Lin Biqiong's villa, she only saw Lin Biqiong sitting on the bed, staring blankly at the depression in front of her. Jiang Mungung left. The place where he slept was still warm. Lin Biqiong touched his body temperature, and without waiting for him to react, he was pressed against the wall by Jiang Yao and asked frantically, "Didn't you say there would be no problems? Why did he disappear?" After not seeing each other for a few months, Jiang Yao lost a lot of weight. Due to her long-term exposure to the business scene, smoking and drinking, she has abnormal bruises under her eyes. At this moment, I feel like a complete madman. Lin Biqiong's eyes were like calm, stagnant water. She broke away from Jiang Yao, turned her head, and put on her clothes and walked out. Jiang Yao chased after her. "Where are you going? Go back in time." Over the years, she has made two preparations. One is to pull Jiang Man back from another world. If she doesn't succeed, she will choose to go back in time. She already knows what she wants, knows her mistakes and can correct them, and everything is too late. It was windy and snowy outside, and when Lin Biqiong broke into the experimental base in the wind and snow, she met the experimenter running towards her in a panic. "Miss Lin, the research results are not correct." Lin Biqiong's eyes showed hostility. "How can it not be right? Hundreds and thousands of experiments. You tell me it's not right." The experimenter cried, "Miss Lin, everyone else can succeed, but you and Miss Jiang can't. Because the two people you mentioned no longer exist. From the past to the future, it completely ceases to exist." This sentence was like a heavy hammer, smashing into Lin Biqiong's head, buzzing in my ears. There is a blank space in front of me. What does it mean that it doesn't exist? For just a short moment, the experimenter in front of him seemed to have been reset, and his eyes were empty. She looked at the names of Jiang Man and Lin Qing on the cardboard and asked a question. "Who are they?" Then, those two names disappeared. It was as if it had been erased out of thin air. The experimenter didn't know what he was here for, so he had to numbly nod to Lin Biqiong, say hello, and turn around and leave. Lin Biqiong suddenly pushed the researcher away, ran in, and started the instrument. Jiang Yao, who arrived later, was shrouded in white light and disappeared in place together. Lin Biqiong and Jiang Yao went back many years, before meeting Jiang Man and Lin Qing. But this time, no one to redeem them appeared. The life they experience again is their original destiny. Lin Biqiong was falsely accused of cheating, cut her wrists, and committed suicide, and was sent to the hospital. In the following years, his life was bumpy. No one gently grabbed her collar on the rainy night when she fell and said, "Lin Biqiong, stand up." No one will gently hold her in her arms to comfort her when her company is alive. No matter what the outcome is, I will accompany you. Her life was bumpy and tragic, bleak. The road to the end of science is full of thorns, and Jiang Yao, in the year of her debut, was overturned by all forces in the entertainment industry and pushed into the dust. She struggled, up and down, always like a person who was about to drown, unable to find the direction and unable to see the way out. No one wants to spend too much thought on a poor singer who doesn't see talent. Her agent changed and changed. Use her as a hot potato. In the end, Jiang Yao collapsed on the day, killed many people, and then hanged himself in his rental house of less than 30 square meters. Before her death, those glamorous lives appeared in front of her like a flower. The virtual and the real eventually turned into an unattainable bubble. When the news of Jiang Yao's death came, Lin Biqiang did not have too many psychological fluctuations. Rather than saying that Jiang Yao is paranoid, it is better to say that she is even more paranoid at this moment. She still refused to let go. After experiencing darkness, Lin Biqiang knew the value of light. As long as she is alive, she will return to Jiang Man's side. Eventually, her wish came true. In another peculiar way, one soul. The systematic blockade was done perfectly, so even if Lin Biqiang exhausted all means, she could only go to Jiang Man's world in the form of a soul at the moment of dying and stay for a short time. She landed in a park full of flowers. The afternoon sun passed through her body and shone on several children playing. The next second, the voice of thinking day and night came from behind. You go to the next parent-teacher meeting. Lin Qing and I were about to be scolded as grandsons just now. Lin Biqiang turned her head instantly, her eyes fixed on the man not far away. Under the bright sun, Jiang Man, who was a little more mature, held an umbrella to shade the girls around him. The girl acted coquettishly. Okay, let the teacher call me next time. By the way, didn't you say that the recliners at home are a bit noisy? I found someone to look at it, and added silent cotton. Jiang Man kissed her. Thank you, wife. I plan to plant some flowers outside the window, the girl replied. I know, sunflower. Lin Biqiang was swept away by overwhelming despair in an instant. Jiang Manta, married? Mom, Dad. The youngest daughter stretched out her little hand covered in mud and went straight through Lin Biqiang's body. Then he threw himself into the arms of Jiang Man and the girl. The same eyes as Jiang Man were staring at the man. Dad, hug the baby. The happiness in Jiang Man's eyes was about to overflow, and he ignored the mud in his daughter's hand, lifted it up, and let her ride on her neck. Every action is expected by Lin Biqiang. It was as familiar as if it were the future she was supposed to have. The girl turned around and walked into the distance with Jiang Man in her arms. Didn't you say you want to have dinner with Lin Qing's family tonight? Jiang Man replied to her. He is being scolded by his wife for dancing at the parent-teacher meeting. Hey, it's not good to marry a big star. The dancing video will be on the hot search tomorrow. Lin Biqiang walked a long way to come to Jiang Man's side. At this moment, listen to the laughter of the family. She suddenly couldn't walk. Her soul became as heavy as 1,000 pounds, and it was difficult to move half a step. Lin Biqiang used her last strength and shouted 2 words desperately. Jiang Man. Jiang Man in the distance suddenly paused and turned his head. Look at her from a distance. Lin Biqiang's tears flowed out instantly, froze in place, and did not dare to move. She opened her eyes in disbelief and stretched out her hand towards Jiang Man. Perhaps this is a second chance given to her by God. Jiang Man's wife and daughter both stopped. Well, what's wrong? Jiang Man said with a smile. Your bag and phone. I forgot that you have to scold me again. He hurried back and picked up the lady's bag that had been forgotten on the bench. When he turned around, the white shirt that Lin Biqiang had dragged countless times brushed shoulders with Lin Biqiang's fingertips. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared into the distance. It also extinguished the bright light in Lin Biqiang's heart that had finally ignited again for more than 20 years. The surroundings suddenly became quiet. The wind blew from the distant sky, blew up Lin Biqiang's soul. Darkness struck.